They told you to save money. Your parents said it. Your teachers said it. Every financial advisor repeats it like scripture. Save 10%. Build an emergency fund. Put money aside for a rainy day. And you listened. You saved diligently. You skipped luxuries. You built your savings account. Yet somehow you are still broke. Still struggling. Still watching others who save nothing leap ahead of you financially. Here is the truth that will shatter everything you believe about money. Saving money is not building wealth. Saving money is hoarding dying assets. And if saving is your primary financial strategy, you are guaranteed to stay poor forever. If you recognize this in your life, or know someone who has been through this situation, hit the like button on this video right now. And if you want to discover the strategies that true financial predators use, subscribe to the channel and comment, "I am ready, so I know you are different from the masses," because what comes next is not for everyone. Understand this fundamental truth. Money sitting in a bank account is dying. Every single day, it loses value. Inflation eats it. Opportunity cost destroys it. Time edo this Italiano. That dollar you save today will buy less next year, and even less the year after. Saving money is like saving ice. You can accumulate a big pile, but it is melting the entire time. By the time you need it, half of it is gone. The wealthy understand this. That is why they do not save money. They deploy money. They put money to work. They turn money into assets that generate returns. Real estate, businesses, stocks, intellectual property. Each dollar they control is employed in generating more dollars. While your money sits in a savings account earning 0.5% interest, their money is multiplying through investments earning 10, 20, or 50% returns. Here is the mathematics that destroys the savings myth. Imagine you save $500 per month for 30 years. You are disciplined. You never miss a month. You accumulate $180,000. Sounds impressive until you account for inflation. At 3% annual inflation, the purchasing power of that $180,000 is actually only $91,000 in today's dollars. You saved for 30 years and lost half your wealth to inflation. Now imagine instead you invested that $500 per month in assets returning 10% annually. After 30 years, you have $1,013,000. Same monthly amount, same time period, but one strategy keeps you poor while the other makes you wealthy. This is not theory. This is mathematics, and mathematics does not care about your feelings or your beliefs. It only cares about what compounds. Machiavelli wrote that whoever desires constant success must change his conduct with the times. The times have changed. Saving made sense when banks paid 5 or 6% interest. When inflation was low, when a dollar held its value. Those times are gone. Continuing to save in this environment is refusing to change your conduct with the times, and refusal to adapt guarantees failure. The first reason saving keeps you poor is the illusion of security it creates. When you have money in savings, you feel safe. This feeling is dangerous because it is false. Your savings account is not safety. It is vulnerability disguised as security. One medical emergency, one job loss, one unexpected expense. Your savings disappear, and you are right back where you started, except older and further behind. Real security comes from cash flow, not cash savings. Cash flow means money coming in regularly from sources other than your job. Rental income, dividend income, business income, royalty income. This income continues regardless of what happens to your employment. This is actual security. But building cash flow requires investing, not saving. Every dollar you save is a dollar not generating cash flow. Every year you prioritize savings over investments is a year you stay insecure. The second reason saving keeps you poor is opportunity cost. Every dollar in savings is a dollar not in investments, and investments grow exponentially while savings grow linearly at best. Over decades, this difference becomes millions of dollars. The broke think in terms of what they have. The wealthy think in terms of what they could have. When you save $1,000, you have $1,000. When you invest $1,000 in an asset returning 12% annually, in 30 years you have $30,000. That single decision to save instead of invest cost you $29,000. Now multiply that by every $1,000 you have ever saved. The opportunity cost of saving is staggering. It is the difference between comfortable retirement and desperate poverty, between financial freedom and lifelong dependence, between wealth and broke. And you chose it by following advice designed for a world that no longer exists. The third reason saving keeps you poor is that it trains wrong behavior. Saving teaches you to accumulate. Investing teaches you to multiply. These are opposite mindsets. The saver asks, how can I keep this money safe? The investor asks, how can I make this money grow? The saver fears loss. The investor manages risk. The saver thinks in terms of preservation. The investor thinks in terms of expansion. When you spend years training yourself as a saver, you hardwire yourself for scarcity thinking. And scarcity thinking repels wealth. The fourth reason saving keeps you poor is that it makes you risk-averse. When all your money is in savings, you become terrified of losing it. This fear prevents you from taking the calculated risks necessary to build wealth. You see opportunities, but you cannot act because you cannot bear to risk your precious savings. So you watch others take the risks, earn the returns, and build the wealth you could have had. Your savings become a prison that keeps you safe and broke. The wealthy are not reckless, but they understand that avoiding all risk guarantees poverty. Every major wealth-building opportunity involves risk. Starting a business is risky. Investing in real estate is risky. Buying stocks is risky. But staying in a job, trading time for money is also risky. The risk is just delayed. You risk becoming obsolete. You risk getting laid off. You risk never building assets. Saving money does not eliminate risk. It just chooses the guaranteed risk of poverty over the potential risk of failure. The fifth reason saving keeps you poor is that it optimizes for the wrong metric. Savers measure success by account balance. How much do I have saved? This seems logical, but it is backwards. The right metric is how much passive income do my assets generate. A person with $100,000 in savings generating zero income is poorer than a person with $50,000 in assets generating $1,000 per month in passive income, because income is power. Savings is just potential. The broke confuse having money with making money. They are not the same. Having money is a snapshot. Making money is a process. You can have a lot of money today and be broke tomorrow if that money is not generating more money. The wealthy focus on income generation. How much do my assets produce monthly? This focus completely changes investment decisions. You stop hoarding and start deploying. The sixth reason saving keeps you poor is lifestyle stagnation. When your financial strategy is to save, you must keep expenses low forever. You cannot upgrade your life because upgrading requires spending, and spending depletes savings. So you live in the cheap apartment. You drive the old car. You skip experiences. You delay life, all to accumulate money that is losing value. This is not financial wisdom. This is financial prison. The wealthy do the opposite. They invest aggressively early. Those investments generate passive income. That passive income funds lifestyle upgrades without touching principal. They live better lives while their wealth compounds. You live a restricted life while your savings erode. In 30 years, they are wealthy and living fully. You are broke with a modest savings account and a lifetime of delayed experiences you can never recover. The seventh reason saving keeps you poor is the taxation trap. Save money eventually gets spent. When you spend it, you pay taxes on the purchases. When you die, your heirs may pay estate taxes on it. Saved money gets taxed coming in as income, taxed going out as spending, and potentially taxed again at death. Invested money in the right structures, compounds, tax-deferred or tax-free. Real estate depreciation, shields, income, retirement accounts grow tax-deferred. Businesses have endless deductions. The wealthy pay far less in lifetime taxes than the broke because they invest instead of save. The eighth reason saving keeps you poor is that it attracts predators. Banks love savers. They pay you 0.5% interest and lend your money to others at 5 or 10% interest. They make millions using your savings. You make pennies. Financial institutions have designed an entire system to profit from people who save. Low interest rates on savings, high fees on accounts, penalties for withdrawals. The game is rigged against savers and in favor of banks. Investors are not prey. They are predators. They buy assets that generate returns higher than inflation. They use leverage to multiply gains. They control where their money works and how hard it works. They do not hand their money to banks and hope for the best. They deploy their money strategically and demand results. This mindset shift from saver to investor is the shift from prey to predator. Now here's what you must understand. I am not saying never hold cash. I am saying never make saving your strategy. Cash reserves for emergencies are reasonable. 3 to 6 months of expenses in accessible funds makes sense, but everything beyond that should be invested. Every dollar sitting idle beyond your emergency fund is a dollar that should be working for you. The broke save everything and invest nothing. The wealthy save minimally and invest maximally. You have been lied to about money. The lie is that saving equals financial responsibility. The truth is that saving without investing equals financial suicide. Inflation will destroy your savings. Opportunity cost will haunt you. Fear will paralyze you. And decades from now you will realize you played the wrong game. You optimized for account balance instead of cash flow. You chose the illusion of security over the reality of wealth. But you have a choice right now. You can continue saving. You can keep doing what you have always done. You can follow the advice that keeps millions broke. Or you can wake up. You can recognize that the rules have changed. You can start deploying money instead of hoarding it. You can build assets that generate cash flow. You can transform from saver to investor, from prey to predator, from broke to wealthy. The path is clear. Stop letting money die in savings accounts. Start putting money to work in investments. Learn about real estate. Learn about index funds. Learn about dividend stocks. Learn about building businesses. Take the money that is currently earning nothing and deploy it into assets that compound. Yes, there is risk. Yes, you might make mistakes, but the guaranteed outcome of saving is poverty. The potential outcome of investing is wealth. Machiavelli said men are driven by 2 principal impulses, either by love or by fear. You have been driven by fear. Fear of losing money. Fear of making mistakes. Fear of risk. This fear has kept you saving and staying poor. It is time to be driven by love. Love of freedom. Love of abundance. Love of possibility. That love will drive you to invest despite the fear. If you are ready to stop saving yourself into poverty, if you are ready to learn how to deploy money into assets that actually build wealth, if you are ready to transform from scared saver into strategic investor, then subscribe to this channel right now, because what I teach next is not for savers. It is for builders. Comment, "I am ready" below, and prove you are done playing the savings game. Your financial future starts the moment you stop saving and start investing. The question is whether you have the courage to make that shift today.